man, so we're back with another Bleach Rebirth of Souls trailer reaction, and I know a lot of y'all been waiting for the boy Grimmjow, and that's who we have today. And we also got confirmation this week that for sure Bleach Rebirth of Souls will be at Jump Festa. At first we had speculation that it'd be there from Shonen Games, but now we actually saw from the official website that they will be there. And if you don't know, I live in Japan, so I've already applied for the lottery, and I actually will be getting the results this Friday, man. So by the time we have the next trailer, I'll know for sure if I'm getting to play this demo for y'all. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell, do all those nice things, so you can actually, see the gameplay if we actually do get to go play this at Jump Festa, man. But today's anime question is going to be about the future. Which character from the 1000-Year Blood War, if we do get this as DLC, are you looking forward to coming to this game the most, man? Let me know in the comments, man. But if you want to see more anime game content like this, make sure to join the Discord pinned in the description, and let's go ahead and look at this trailer, bro. So as you know, when we do these trailers, man, first we watch it through, and then we're going to break it down after, bro. So first time we're just watching it. Just watching it normal, man. And got ourselves another Espada, man. What we got? The Sexta Espada who aims for high stat.
I can't wait to devour you.
Ooh, that voice sounds nice. Oh, Impulse. He has a different gauge as well. We're gonna have to go back and oh, this map looks beautiful.
Stop playing around.
Oh, that is nice.
Here I come.
What is that? A little bit of a charge. Okay. This map looks, and looks like we have a little bit of a different soundtrack. Ooh, wee, that looks fire, bro. Okay. We got a little bit of some cinematic looking, it looks slower. They slowed a little bit of it down for some of his moves. Ooh, that looks nice. Okay. Let's go back and look at this. Okay, man, so when we look at these actual descriptions of the character, one thing I gotta say before we even get into this, like I said, kudos to them for how they did this map. This is actually one of my favorite maps that I've seen from the game so far. While it might seem like it's just simple with them just, fighting while floating on Reishi and walking on Reishi, I love the details that they actually did in the background with this. And also, it seems like Grimmjow is a character that mainly focuses on buffs, but when he goes into his awakening, he's going to actually focus on some melee moves instead of using his sword. But we look at the basic thing about him. It says the Sexta Espada who aims for high status while hiding his thoughts. He excels at turning adversity into strength and seizing victory at the first opportunity. So it says characterized by explosive combat, making use of his accumulated impulses. So impulses is actually going to be his signature move, and it seems like this character is good about building strength over time of the match, where he can maybe steal a match from you without you least expecting it, because he can deal a whole lot of damage in short bursts. So when we look at the special gauge, because we have another character that has a special gauge for once, just like we also have with Hitsugaya. He also had a special gauge. We see with Grimmjow, he has the impulse gauge. Turn into annihilation state for a certain period by charging impulse gauge to the maximum. Impulse gauge will accumulate by receiving attacks or activating signature move. During the annihilation state, attack power will increase and some actions will change. So we actually didn't really get to see his actions change, but we saw with this impulse gauge, basically it's supposed to actually give you a higher attack power, and it's good that this can also be filled up by getting attacks taken on you. So this is very good because it's going to basically mean if you're dealing damage, or also if you're holding the signature move, or if you're receiving attacks, you can actually still be able to turn the tide of the battle with this. And we see the signature move is going to be the preparation, a technique that takes a stance by holding down input and charges the impulse gauge during the stance. By charging the impulse gauge to the maximum, Grimmjow will be in the annihilation state for a period of time. So both of these are paired together with this gauge pairing up with preparation. So the way that you can actually build up your impulse gauge is either by holding the stance and just charging it up, or by taking damage from the opponent. So it seems like Grimmjow is going to have his own type of comeback mechanic, which is going to allow him to deal off a lot of damage. And we don't know if this is also going to affect how many Kompaku he can actually destroy whenever he's hitting you with the soul destruction move. This is going to be pretty interesting, especially if he can knock off like 3 to 4 lives depending on what stage of the match this is in. And we don't get to see both his spiritual pressure moves, but we do get to see spiritual pressure move 2, which is kill them, spare none. And this one's basically turned into decimation state for a certain period of time by activating. During the decimation state, each action will be greatly enhanced, but Grimmjow's Reishi will get damaged by his own attack. So this is another one that gives him a boost, but you see right here, you're actually going to take damage to your own Reishi by using this. But we don't actually see him use a move, so this looks like it's just a buff. But we did get to see him use one move that I think might be a spiritual pressure move, which you see him doing like a charge where he comes in and slashes you with his claw first, and then he starts hitting you with his sword. I think this is a high chance that this might be his spiritual pressure move 1, which looks like it's just going to be a charging slashing technique. So it seems like you're going to have a buff for your signature signature move. You're also going to have a buff for your spiritual pressure move too, and then you'll maybe have one spiritual pressure move that allows you to do like a slashing combo. And when we look at his awakening, it's going to be Grimmjow's performance is enhanced by releasing Pantera with Ressureccion. The amount of Reishi and the damage will increase, as well as explosive power will be enhanced during the annihilation state and decimation state. So Grimmjow is all about damage boost and knocking off your health. This guy is probably going to do some of the highest damage in the game, and he's basically going to be for characters that really just want to get in there and be aggressive and turn the tide of a battle out of nowhere. We can actually see when he's in his resurrection state, we see that he's no longer really fighting with his sword. He's using only his claws, and we can see that his whole moveset change is pretty similar to what we saw with Nell last week, which I think is pretty interesting because you're going to be fighting a completely different character whenever they go into their resurrection, and I like how they made this pretty unique because this is going to cause you to you're going to have to adapt to do two different play styles depending on if your opponent is fighting in their normal form or if they're fighting in their resurrection form. But now that we know what things look like, man, let's go ahead and come back through here and look at this trailer one more time, man. Like I said, Grimmjow seems like he's very fast and he's going to deal damage. We actually saw last week from the chart, I'll show that to y'all, but it looks like Nell is one of the fastest characters in the game, so I'm curious in the next few weeks, next week, what Grimmjow's actual meter is going to look like for his speed. So let's look at this gameplay again. So first they're going to show us the actual impulse meter, which, you know, allows him to go into his annihilation state. He has two states, annihilation state, and then he also has the decimation state. We see right here, you can turn into annihilation state for a certain period of time once the impulse gauge charges up. And this is that combo I was talking about that I think is his spiritual pressure move 1. So we see the first one, the preparation, which is his signature move, where he can just charge up the gauge, and then we see him come with the slash, which I don't think is his spiritual pressure move. I think that's just a heavy attack. Now, this is the one that I think is his spiritual pressure move right here, where he slashes and then he comes to 3 swords. That's what I think is spiritual pressure move 1. We can see there's also a buff. Of course, we get this normal animation that we've seen before, always, whenever they show them reversing their fate. While I do like the finishing and like the finishing look of Grimmjow when he's in his resurrection, I don't think he has one of the best animations when it comes to actually transforming into his resurrection, but it's still cool. I do like the gameplay when he's actually in his resurrection form, though. We can see he's not using his sword. This is solely hand to hand, and he's going crazy. And we can see him, you know, his speed is definitely increased. And then right here we get a shot of probably one of his finishing moves whenever he's destroying your last Konpaku, which looks pretty cool, man. Looks pretty nice. I like the way this looks. And then we get a final little description about him. So what I was talking about after how I was saying that I'm wondering if Grimmjow is going to be faster than Nell, when we look at some of the extra details that they added here, it says basically here with Nell, in addition to being easy to use, she is a high standard character who shakes up opponent with her unique techniques. Her close attacks and step have wide range, so she can close the distance between her opponents in one go, which is also a strip. So Nell, speed and being able to close the distance. Her special flash has a long range and can be used as a surprise attack. So it seems like most characters are going to have some type of special flash attack where they can do like some type of flash step, but Nell's is going to have exceptionally long range, which is going to allow her to really get close to people. So this is very interesting. I was not expecting Nell to be maybe even faster than Yoruichi in this game. And it says, although it's difficult, it's also possible to get close to the opponent while avoiding long range attacks. So when we actually look at her chart, I actually remember what everything is. So if I didn't tell y'all last time, this is power, this is technique, this is speed, this is Reishi, basically how much Reishi, how much health you have, and also maybe how much energy you actually have to actually use your spiritual pressure moves. And this one is toughness, basically your defense. So we see right here with speed, her speed is maxed out and she doesn't have high power. So they actually even say that when you're looking at the description of these moves. We already know what these moves are, and we also see right here that it says ease of use. That's why it says she's an easy character. But when we look at this power, how low her power is, we can actually see that come into play down here. We already know what all these moves are, but what it says right here, by accumulating the gauge accumulate with unique moves, you can use the derived attacks to some attacks, or it can cancel stiffness steps. So this is basically her using her move to actually build up the stocks to be able to follow up whenever she does a spiritual pressure move. But it says here, since Nell's basic attack power is low, you should use it actively to increase damage. So they actually want you to use her stocks. You need to use the Cadena, preparing for pursuit. This allows you to fill up your gauge and then maybe even follow up your spiritual pressure moves with a Seto. They want you to use this because they're basically saying her damage is not going to be that good if you're not using this follow-up tactic. This is solely for her to be able to actually actually compete with other characters when it comes to damage. So let me know how y'all actually feel about that in the comments. I'm very excited to see what Grimmjow's is going to look like next week, if his speed is going to be higher than Nell's. And actually, since we're looking at this, it actually has me interested to see exactly how fast was Yoruichi, because I don't know if we looked at her chart together, but I'm curious, is her speed the same as Nell? And it is the same as Nell. So Nell and Yoruichi have similar speed, but it seems like Yoruichi has higher technique, and her damage is also low as well. Her damage is actually lower than Nell's. This is actually pretty interesting. It's very nice that they're making all these characters distinctively different and they're not the same. I think I want to check one last character before we get out of here. I am curious. I think also maybe one of the fastest characters would probably be Uryu. I think Uryu does have a little bit of speed. I want to see what his chart looks like, and let's see what it looks. Okay, so Uryu doesn't really have speed. His is, oh, focus, of course, Reishi. He's a Quincy. Let me know in the comments, man, how y'all actually felt about this breakdown of Grimmjow and seeing what he looks like. Like I said, we'll look at his chart next week. We know that Jump Festa will be coming soon. I'll let y'all know the results of that this Friday once we see and stuff like that. But let me know in the comments what character you're actually looking forward to coming to this game from the 1000-Year Blood War, if we'll be getting that as DLC. I hope y'all enjoyed the breakdown. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell, do all those nice things. And the website that I look at to look at these things, I'll put that in the description, since I always have at least one person commenting, asking how to get to this website, man. But hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I'm gonna see y'all next week, man. We up.